Now, Beauty Bay have released another of their 20 pan eyeshadow palettes from their limited edition range, and this time it is the Desert Haze palette. Now, I do own all of the other 20 pan limited edition eyeshadow palettes. I picked them up whether I like the colour story or not because now it's just a collection and I like to review them for you guys. So of course I was going to be picking up the newest one, which is Desert Haze, and this is what the unicarton looks like, and it does come in a lot of bubble wrap. Now I've shown you that, I can get rid of it. I did also pick up one of the new lip clicks from Beauty Bay. I think they have 3 shades and I got mine in the shade Softy, so I'm going to be trying that out as well. And a week or so ago I did pick up the Golden Haze Fragrance Mist, and I have been testing this out, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on this as well. But before I do all of that, let's go into the close-ups and the swatches. So I'm going to start out by talking about the Golden Haze spray. I was really excited for this because a nice summer fragrance, Beauty Bay coming out with a fragrance. So this is a hair and body fragrance mist and it retails for £10. So I was excited to give it a go. I don't know if you saw that, but the mister is not the best. It leaks a little bit, especially when you're spraying it. Like, I'm spraying it all over, trying to get the scent on me, and literally by the end, my finger and the top of all of this is covered. So I don't think that that is the best product design. And the fragrance itself, it's a lovely mister when it actually sprays. It does leak, but... And the scent is sort of a summery scent. To me, it's a little bit vanilla, a little bit... It doesn't feel like a nice complex scent like what I like to usually go for, and I prefer something fruity as a whole, but I thought I'd give it a go. And it's not a bad scent, I just think it's quite a generic one that most people would like. It is not long lasting. It lasts all of 2 minutes that I can still smell it and then it's gone. So I feel like it's a bit of a pointless scent, to be honest. I'm a little bit disappointed with it, and like I say, the mister thing, it does leak. The Hyper Gloss Lip Click does come in 3 shades and it does retail for £9. And I really like the packaging of this. It feels like a soft matte packaging, and obviously you click the end to get out the product. So I went for Softy, which is more of a neutrally beige, but I believe there's more of a reddy toned one and then more of a pinky leaning one, but I'm going to give this one a go. Now, I don't know whether it's just because it's hot in this beauty room or what, but I've already messed this up. It's super, super creamy, which is, I mean, nice for applying, but it does feel a little bit goopy. I've got those, you know, those lips with the goop when you know? But again, that just could be because it's extremely warm in this room and it's making the formula of this a little bit more sticky than it needs to be. In terms of colour, I wish there was a tiny bit more pigment to it. But it feels nice now that I've taken off the excess and we're not as goopy. So I'm going to have to try this again when it's not as hot in this room, but that is what it's looking like. It is really nice and shiny, and it's not... I mean, it does feel comfortable. I think the key is here, don't use too much, otherwise you enter goop territory. Okay, so the Desert Haze eyeshadow palette, the main star of the show for this video. 20 shades like all of the other limited edition 20 pans that Beauty Bay do, and I've been a little bit disappointed with the previous ones, the sort of the last couple that Beauty Bay have released. So if you check back on my videos and you want to have a look at that, you can, because I felt like the variety in depth just wasn't there. I was disappointed, which is sad because originally when they first started bringing out these palettes, I thought the colour stories were really, really inspired, thought about, fantastic, and then they sort of lost their way a little bit. So now we come on to this one, and I'm pleased to see we do have depth, we do have super light shades, and we have mid-tone shades, which is something that the other palettes were lacking, quite a few of them. So I'm happy to see that in this one. I feel like it's a nice earthy colour story. It's like an interesting take on a neutral palette. However, when I did first see this, I will say my first thought was, Oh look, it's a neutral palette with a pop of blue. We've not seen that before. Having said that though, seeing it in person, it does look more interesting than it does on the Beauty Bay website. Whoever's taken the pictures for the Beauty Bay website and the colours, how it looks on there, it's not the same as in person. They're a lot more vibrant, saturated, and you can see that it's not just fully neutrals. I can see that most of these shimmers are going to be the putty-like formula that quite a lot of people kind of like to avoid because it's really difficult to pick up on a brush. You really have to use your finger with it, and there can be a little bit more emollient and break up in the crease if you are prone to that happening to you. But there are also some other looking shimmer textures in this as well. So I appreciate that they haven't just put the fully putty formula in here. Yeah, seeing it in person, I feel like it's slightly more interesting than just a neutral palette with a blue, but I'm going to see how I feel when I get it on my eyes. And of course, I'm not really going to be sticking to the neutrally types of shades today because if you know me and my channel, I like bright, colourful, crazy kind of looks. So I'm looking at this orange, I'm looking at the light yellow, I am looking at the blue shimmer. There is a really nice earthy matte green here as well though, so there are definitely options for a colour lover like me. On the whole, Beauty Bay's eyeshadow formula, I think it's a really good matte formula that they've got for like an affordable option. Having said that, this palette was £16 and you can buy palettes from Cosmic Beauty for less than £30 that has got an incredible formula. So I guess it just depends on your budget, but I've never really been mad at the Beauty Bay matte formula. I think it's quite a nice one. It seems to be buildable and pigmented, which is what I like. It's more the shimmers that are hit and miss depending on if it's the putty formula or not. I feel like as well they've played it quite safe with this palette because a lot of people tend to gravitate towards neutrals, like the wider community of people that buy eyeshadow palettes in general. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is start out with the deepest matte shade, which is called Prickly Pear, and it is here. Am I going to regret this? Who knows? There's a lot on my brush. It is pigmented, so I'm imagining it's going to be the same matte formula that I'm used to from Beauty Bay. I mean, just look at that pigment going on. Like I said, never really had an issue with the mattes from Beauty Bay, apart from the Nikki Tutorials palette. If you know, you know. And I am going to wrap this onto the lower lash line as well. I do like to do that with my deeper mattes. I did possibly put a little bit more of that on than I intended, but I mean, here we are. Then I'm going to go into the murky, earthy looking green called Agave. This one. And I'm just going to use a little bit of this to tickle on the edges of that deeper green. But again, this is quite a deep shade, so it's getting more dramatic with every brush stroke. And when I saw the advertising for this palette, it did say it had a duochrome in this, and I can see exactly which one it is, and I'm not sure if we're going to use it. It's called Mirage, and it's this one here, and it's super duper shifty. I'm not sure if you're going to see it on camera, but in person, shifty. And then I'm going to use the super light beigey shade here called Sirocco or Sirocco, just to blend out the edges of those two deeper greens. I know it's sort of a deserty haze theme to this, but at the same time I feel like it's quite a nice autumnal palette rather than summer. Just me? Maybe. Okay, then I fully want to go into the orange because it's me and it's called Canyon. Then for the inner corner I'm going to go into Yucca, which is the super pastel yellow. It's super light. So Canyon first, and I'm just going to press that in the crease area. Okay, that's vibrant, and vibrancy does make me happy. And then the super bright yellow for that inner corner. Let's see how impressive this pastel. Okay, that's definitely showing up. It is behaving quite well for an extremely light pastel yellow. It will have a lot of white in this yellow, but okay, that's giving me what I wanted. I don't know if I like it. You know? I'm gonna persist and we're gonna go until the end, but okay, maybe the shimmers will make me feel a bit better. So we've got, what is this called? Saguaro, I think, which is a beautiful greeny, grungy shimmer. We've got Desert Rose. We have Oasis, which is the blue. Oh, that's nice. It does feel more like a satin on the finger though. Then we've got Hazy, Afterglow, I'm running out of fingers, Sol, Heat, Mirage, ooh, Mirage, Sahara, oh my gosh, Sahara's stunning as well, that's quite shifty. That is a peachy pink. Oh, that's nice. And we do have more, but I've run out of fingers, so let me just clean them off. Okay, my original plan when I sat down was to use the blue shimmer, but I don't think the blue shimmer is going to go with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Mirage, because that's the shifty duochrome that I want to use to begin with. And I don't know if we'll use another as well, but we shall see. And I'm going to apply it with my finger just so it's easier, because I know Beauty Bay shimmers are quite temperamental with a brush, but look. Hey. I've realised I've just put it over the entirety of the lid when I probably shouldn't have done, and I should have left some space, but that is a stunning, stunning shimmer. Trying to pick the shade Sahara up on a brush is annoying. However, I've dug into it and we're going to attempt, and I'm going to try and put it where I've already put shimmer because I'm silly. Do I like that there? I don't think I like that there. Oh, abort mission. Maybe we just go into Sol. Yeah. Okay, Sol has definitely picked up easier on a brush, and I'm just gonna place that there. That looks better. That definitely looks better. Adding a little bit of that Sol shade to the lower lash line as well. I still don't know whether I like this. I'm gonna work on the blend and finish up the rest of the look, stick on some lashes, and then see how I feel. Isn't it amazing how when you've put on mascara or lashes or both, it kind of just brings everything together and just makes you feel good. I feel like now that the lashes are on and I put 2 shades in my waterline, it does feel better to me. So I have the cream gel liner from Colourpop in the shade, no that's dropping it Kerry, Fast Lane, and then the Makeup Revolution Streamline eyeliner in orange. So I use both of those just to tie in with the shades that I use, but I feel like now that it's all on, I feel like it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? It feels very, very earthy. It does feel like a bit of a deserty haze, and I am a fan. That was a very trust the process moment for me because, I don't know, the majority of that look I'm just like, do I like this? I feel like now it's all come together though, it definitely makes a lot more sense to me, and I quite like it, especially the shimmer on the lid. As I was looking down into my mirror and putting my lashes on, I could see the shift. It's very difficult to show on camera. Hopefully you could see it in the swatches earlier, but yeah, I quite like how this look turned out. So let's talk about this palette. Like, I know I've only used a certain number of shades. This is just first impressions. I definitely need to review it a little bit more and then come back to you and let you know my full thoughts. But so far from first impressions, I'm not disappointed. I think the formula is nice. It was very difficult to try and pick up Sahara that I didn't end up using on a brush, which, you know, I know that is the case with some of the putty-like shimmer formulas from Beauty Bay. If you use a sponge tip applicator or your finger, it's definitely better than a brush for some of them. But Sol picked up nicely on a brush, and I feel like the matte shades were pigmented, blendable. It's not my favourite matte formula in the entire world, but it's also not a bad one. I feel like it's a really good quality palette for the price for sure. Like I said in the beginning, I'm happy that they included super light shades. I'm happy that they included some depth and mid-tone shades. I need that range for me to make it a full curated colour story. That's just how I like to do my makeup. I do like my depth in my outer corner going all the way to light in the inner corner usually. That's typically how I like to do my makeup. Now the colour story as a whole, as I was looking at it and I was playing around with it, I did see more different colour combinations that I could do, and it piqued my interest a slight bit more. However, I just feel like for me and the types of shades and things that I like, it feels a little bit on the boring side to me. And I know that's not going to be the case for everybody. Some people are going to think this is the best palette that Beauty Bay have ever released, but I think it's just a preference thing for colour stories. Like, I would reach for the Book of Magic, which was one of the first ones that they brought out, and the Wilderness palette, absolutely insane. This one, I think for me, it's nice. It's more interesting than just a neutral palette, but personally, I prefer some of the other colour stories they've done. I don't think it's a bad one, and I feel like a lot of people are gonna really love this one. When I finish filming and I've uploaded my video, I will then go onto YouTube and watch other people's reviews, and no doubt in my mind about every single person saying how much they love the colour story of this palette. And that's fine, we all have different preferences. I mean, if they did neon green and grungy green and full-on green palette, I mean, a lot of people will complain about that and I would be raving about it. So, I mean, I can only give you my honest opinion, and for me, although I think it's nice, like I say, I don't think it's something that I'm going to reach for constantly just because of the colour story. If you wanted to know about the formula, the shades that I've used today, very, very nice. I will test the rest of the palette, like I say. And I think if you've tried the Beauty Bay formula before and you're happy with it and you like the look of this colour story, I definitely don't think you'll be disappointed with this palette. Like I say, I think it's more of a preference thing. But if you were thinking about picking up the Golden Haze Fragrance Mist, for me, it just does not last. The scent, I mean, it's pointless. You might as well be spraying water on yourself. Like, it smells nice whilst you're spraying it and then it fully disappears. The mister itself is a nice fine mist, but it leaks, especially when you're spraying it. So for me, I don't really rate this product. And so far, the Hyper Gloss Lip Click is, I mean, it's nice. It's not revolutionary. It's £9. If you want one and you want to have slightly hydrated looking lips with a tiny, tiny bit of pigment to it, then it's not bad. Like I say, I'm in a very, very hot sauna of a beauty room right now, so it is a little bit goopy looking, but hopefully when it's not as hot in here, it won't be as sticky as this. But I mean, still, I mean, I've been drinking my coffee. It still looks nice on the lips. I haven't got any complaints about it. Just don't put too much on would be my advice. I would love to know your thoughts about this palette. Have you picked it up? Are you interested in it? Were you going to be checking for some reviews first? Or are you going to dupe it with shades in your collection? Because I feel like this is a very dupeable palette. I feel like most of us that have eyeshadow palettes have a lot of these shades already in our collection, so I don't necessarily feel like you need to run out and buy it, unless as well you are collecting them like I am. Like I say, I've got all of them so far. I'm not going to stop collecting them because it's just a thing now. You know what I mean? And I think it's about time that I ranked all of the 20 pan limited edition palettes from Beauty Bay, so that then you can see the kind of colour stories that I'm more drawn towards. And I mean, it's not going to be the neutral ones, let's just put it like that. There is a time and a place for a neutral, don't get me wrong. I do like a neutral, prefer bright Technicolor in general. But like I said, this one is definitely more than just a neutral palette. I do think they've added enough interest to interest colour lovers in this, but I don't know, it just depends if you like the tones. Don't forget to subscribe if this is the type of content that you enjoy, and hopefully guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye!